Confidently controversial. Confidently controversial. Confidently controversial.
Hi, everyone.
Good day to you, sirs and madams.
And welcome to
Confidently Controversial.
It's a podcast that's all about
Us.
and movies and just things that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, even though some people don't like our banter.
Everyone likes. Who doesn't like our banter? I'll kill that person. Our banter is lovely. Our banter is what I live for.
I know.
I live for our banter.
I know.
It's my favorite thing. I live for our banter. I live for our texts. I live for our sharing memes on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
It's like one of my favorite things.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
I'm Kim Tweed, by the way.
And I'm Emily Paul. And we're best friends.
Yeah.
We've been best friends for like a really long time.
Yeah, I know. Like sometimes we pretend we don't know how long, but then the other day, I think we talked about it on one of the podcasts. It was like 1992.
Right.
So that's like a long time ago.
Was that like 30 years?
Yeah.
Over 30 years.
Yeah,
of
32
friendship.
years. That's a fully grown person with a job and perhaps a 401k.
I mean, I would hope that our friendship has a 401k. It should.
It does.
Although our friendships, you know, I think our friendship's pretty reliable.
Yeah. I think it's invested in some moderate risk.
Moderate risk. Yes. Our friendship is moderate risk.
I would like to retire on time, but, you know, it'll take a chance every now and then.
Absolutely. Well, I think our friendship wants to go on vacation, and it knows it needs to save.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
it tries to be smart with its money.
But then, you know,
every now and
shiny
then.
things happen, and there you go.
Uh-huh.
Yes, so we've been friends for a long time. This podcast, we talk about some movies. We pick a movie from our youth. We discuss. We talk about other things. I got to say, I'm coming a little hot today. I don't know where. As I was driving in, so on my way to our pod loft, I like to just think of, well, what are some things that, you know.
What's been going on?
What's been going on? What might I want to talk about?
Sure.
And I couldn't really think of that many things because I'm a little bit brain dead at the moment because I didn't get a good night's sleep because my son was having tooth issues. But I will say, I saw a possum on the way into...
Oh, this is some hot goss, guys. Hot dish.
This isn't hot dish. This is just me saying that, like, possums are disgusting.
Okay.
And I thought about this a lot of my ride over here. Just like, why? Like, why do they exist? Like, who needs a fucking possum?
The possum people are coming after you.
Like, with an ugly, weird tail. Like, its tail is all gross and naked. Ew. And it's got, like, a long face.
Yeah.
And if it gets, you know, scared, it's just like, I'm dead. I don't know. They're stupid.
I have an aversion to most animals with long faces.
Well, my dog has a long face. Mm-hmm. You don't like my dog. Okay, whatever.
She sure does.
Oh, man. What did Penny ever do to you?
I think that animals with long faces were meant to sniff crotches. That's my theory.
That's what they were born to do?
Yeah, that's all the only purpose they serve.
I think.
So imagine a possum sniffing your crotch.
Okay, well, that sounds like hell.
I know.
In hell, possums sniff your crotch.
You're in a really bad situation if
you
that's
are.
happening.
You are. You're definitely laying on the ground. Like a possum's not getting up to your standing level.
No.
So you're not on foot where you can run away real quick.
Right.
You're supine.
Right. And possibly being attacked by other possums at the same time.
They have sharp teeth too, I think.
And razor sharp talons.
Yeah, like but what purpose do they serve? Like, what do they eat? They're scavengers, right?
I don't know, Emily. I don't know a lot
Are
about
they marsupials?
No. What?
I guess I don't know a lot about possums, so I shouldn't.
You shouldn't judge them.
They hang upside down, right? Isn't that how they sleep? They hang by their tails?
I think you're confusing some animals. They sleep upside down?
Yeah, I think they hang by their tail and they sleep upside down. No, that's what they do.
Not bats.
I know they're possums and they hang by their tails. I have to Google it now.
You think they sleep like that?
I think that's how they sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
And you think they have babies in their belly, and when they're hanging upside down, the babies don't fall out? Like in their pouch?
A possum tail hang. Yeah, look, they hang by their tails.
Oh.
and they sleep.
Okay.
And let's see, are they marsupials? Let's find out. This has become a zoo show.
How did you get all this
Are
possum knowledge?
Opossums. I have a Google machine, and it tells me, are opossums? They are nocturnal.
Yes, we know.
Are they good pets? Who would ask that question? That's one of the top questions on here.
There's been a trend of people having raccoons as pets.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah, I know. You can't trust those animals. Their brains aren't big enough.
No, but they're mean too.
Yeah.
Like, don't you feel like all those nocturnal animals are like, we're up all night and we're crazy?
Yep.
Are opossums marsupials or they are marsupials. I know so
God.
much about opossums, Kim. I paid attention.
I apologize for being so
you want to see
by
you want to see a disgusting
your thought
picture?
process, yes.
Look at that disgusting
Ew.
picture.
Okay.
Well, we're done with that. The other thing on my ride in today, I went to the Starbucks, as is my way before a podcast. You need a little bit of caffeine.
Sure.
You know what? I think we could do without in our world.
What's that?
The cake pop.
Don't be controversial, Emily.
That's the whole show.
Yeah.
Is controversial.
Why did you eat one?
I have had them before, and
Yeah.
they're disgusting. It's just like really dense, like doughy.
Yeah,
like
the best kind of
cake dough.
batter.
It's just like a little tiny bit, and somebody like touched it with their hands,
Okay.
and it's all like, and then they just dip it.
Do you ever think about the fact that when you're opening an envelope, someone's lick was on it? I think about it way too much. Like, I get
Yeah, you do.
disgusted by opening envelopes because I think about the fact that the last thing where my finger is, was someone's tongue.
Do you have one of those knives? to
I
open
don't.
up?
I don't, because I don't necessitate it. I don't open that much mail, but whenever I do, it's problematic
Well,
for
you've
me.
been opening some mail recently because you've sent me some pictures of the mail that you've been receiving recently.
Oh, yeah, I just usually rip that in half. That's junk mail.
Kim gets a lot of interesting junk mail at her house.
Yes.
About giving to Save the Donkeys,
Save the bears.
Save the Bears, which I didn't even know were things, and I don't want to save the bears, as we've discussed before. Fuck those bears.
They're dangerous.
They are dangerous. What's going on with you? What do you hate? Because I've just discussed all the things I hate this morning.
I don't hate anything. I'm really just overjoyed with life right now.
Are
I gotta
you?
be honest. Yeah.
Yeah?
Everything's good.
Is it?
No. But it's
I was
fun.
gonna say,
I was thinking about what we could talk about, and I was like, what am I watching? And then I realized I'm watching the first season of Fargo, which is a show from 2014. So, like, I'm recommending 10-year-old television shows.
Right. I gotta
So,
watch I just watched the most recent season. Which
They're
is
not all connected.
They're not. They're all connected to the movie, and they're connected in vibe.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Okay.
But they're not the same. I have to go. The first one is the only one I have not seen.
Well, Billy Bob Thornton is in it.
I know, and
he's
so
a real
is
creeper.
And so is young Colin Hanks, right?
Well, yeah, Colin Hanks. Colin Hanks, who looks perpetually young, but has a 12-year-old daughter in this season of it.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I'm not buying it because he's
Right.
always looks like he's like 12.
Yeah. No, that show is really good. You know what I started watching last night, but I had to stop midway through because it's not a movie that can be watched around children, is that new movie Poor Things.
Oh, I'm not interested.
You're not?
No, I don't like the commercials. I don't like the voices. I don't care for it. It's intentionally weird and it's trying too hard.
Well, I do think that. It's just like, all right with the fish lens already, it was my thought after about, 5 minutes of this movie. I'm just like, all right, I get it.
Right.
Enough of the fucking fish. Because that's what it is. It's a lot of like wide fish lens shots.
You're very artistic.
You're very
We
artistic.
understand.
I get it. I don't, but Mark Ruffalo is in it.
Yeah. He's in a lot of other stuff, though, too. If you need to watch Mark Ruffalo and something. 13 going on 30, perhaps.
But he's very nude in this.
Oh. How nude?
Like, very nude.
Like, all nude?
You don't see it all, but, like, he's nude.
Do you see his Heiner?
I don't know. There's a lot of action when he's nude.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
All right.
if you can get
Keep
over
in
the
mind.
weirdness.
If I'm feeling, like I need some nude Ruffalo.
Well, and like I said, I've only made it halfway through, so it could really go in either direction. I am committed to
He
seeing
could get
it.
full naked in the second part.
I don't know if he would. Maybe. But I definitely, Emma Stone is like full naked. Like you see it all of her. So I've seen her.
All.
I've seen all.
Emily's doing the single lady's hand.
Yes, I've seen all of a nude Emma Stone.
Wow.
Yeah, but I will say what else you you would actually probably like about it is whoever does the clothing for it. I'm gonna guess it had to have been nominated for Academy Awards. It's beautifully made clothes that they put her in. It's pretty I could like just looking at her outfits, like just because of the tailoring and everything else. Like whoever did that, whoever they hired to do that work, very talented.
But
person.
what's wrong with her?
I mean, I don't want to give away the movie to all the people, but you know, she's got some stuff happening. But
people are here to hear about 80s movies.
They're
not going to watch Poor Things for like 35 years.
They might. Well, do you want to talk about the movie for today?
Yeah, let's talk about it. It's your pick. I didn't have to do anything. I just showed up, and then I got excited to watch a movie with you, and then I was a little nervous about what you were going to pick, but I'm still excited. So go.
Okay. I feel like I picked a movie that will be very fun for us to watch.
Good. We need something fun.
Yes. Although I have not seen this movie in a very, very, very long time.
Okay.
And it's been on my list of movies since we started the podcast.
Sure.
This has been like high up on my list of movies. I don't know for sure that you've seen this movie.
Okay.
If you haven't seen this movie, prepare to be delighted.
Okay.
But I feel like just knowing you, it would be right up your alley.
Okay.
Like this movie.
All right.
It came out in 1985.
All right.
I did it, and it made like 1.6 million in the box office. It was okay.
Sure.
Like it came in at like 10 in the box office when it first came out. So it wasn't like a crazy success, but it was like a movie. It was a movie.
Well, that's what
I could say
the parameters
about
of this show then.
Yes, it was definitely a movie.
Sure.
So it came out, and it stars some people, who are, you would know.
Okay.
I'll name one that you don't know,
Uh-huh.
and that's Lee Montgomery. He's the male lead in this movie. But Jonathan Silverman, there's a young Jonathan Silverman in this. There's also a young Shannon Doherty appears in this when she's about 13 years old. She's in this movie. And there's also someone named who, when I think back at this movie, this is truly the person that I loved in this movie, is Helen Hunt. And then it stars Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, I know what this is.
It is?
Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
Yes, it is. Have you seen this?
I've seen it once.
Okay.
And I feel like I think I was a teenager. It definitely wasn't a movie that I watched in 1985.
Okay.
And I don't think it was really on my radar until I was older and probably friends with you.
Yes. So this movie it came out in 85, but I saw it on TV. So I probably saw it in 86 or 87. So I was like 9 or 10 when I saw this movie. This was a movie that the second that I watched it, I was so enamored by it. And just remember being very enamored by, especially like Helen Hunt. She is like this quirky character and like this cool style. But in reading all of the reviews of this movie, I can see why a child would probably be very attracted to this movie.
Okay.
Because it's supposedly very cheesy. And yeah, it's very cheesy, very, a little on the nose. The reviews of it are pretty much like, it's not that, like, if you think of all the great teen comedies, teen movies of the 80s, like this isn't one of them. It's basically.
Well, good. I'm glad we're going to watch it then.
but it's funny.
This isn't a good movie.
But it's great. So this movie is about two things, dance and rebellion.
Yes. Two of my favorite things.
Right. But it's funny because while I love this movie, and like I said, when I saw this movie, I was immediately attracted to it. I just loved everything about it. But I was never one of those little girls who wanted to be a dancer. Like, were you a little girl who wanted to be a dancer?
So, yes. Because we got some hand-me-down clothes from this family. And the girl was older and cool. And she was in dance.
Okay.
And I would get like her dance like
Costumes.
leotards and stuff like that.
Ooh.
And also like I remember there was some sort of like dance like warm-up suit
Nice.
that I got. But it didn't last very long, probably because I was a chubby child. And I think that this girl stayed slim and trim. So all of a sudden those clothes stopped coming, probably because my mom was like, yeah. We don't have any use for these anymore.
We got different body types happening right here.
But I do remember getting some hand-me-down clothing. And I also remember, and I've told you this story before, that I danced in...
Oh, did you dance?
In the 4th and 5th grade talent show. Solo.
Tell us the story, Kim.
I was supposed to do a dance with my friend to Baby You Can Drive My Car.
Okay.
And she was like, I'm going to do this something with somebody else. Probably because I was too good of a dancer.
Probably. It sounds
she
like
was intimidated.
I mean, it sounds like that's what
happened. I was just like, well, screw you then. I'm going to make up a dance on the spot.
You ad-libbed.
And I feel like I was in 5th grade, and I feel like in 5th grade they were like, yeah, we pretty much have to let all of these kids be in the talent show because...
Otherwise we'll ruin their self-esteem for the rest of their lives.
Right, and they're graduating or they're moving on to the next school. So we might pick and choose from the 4th graders, but all the 5th graders get to be in it. So I got to be in it. So therefore, when I danced to, I believe, Satisfaction?
Oh, the original Rolling Stones version.
No, I think it was...
Susanna Hoffs did a version of that with the bangles.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was that. I feel like In Excess was involved.
So it was a man singing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway...
So did the other girls dance to Baby You Can Drive My Car?
No.
No, they did something else.
They did something else. But yeah, so I danced to some song all by myself. And I remember someone being like, oh, she's good, but she moves her arms too much. Like, I remember someone else in my class, and I can't even imagine what this thing is. If there was a tape of it, I would probably murder someone to have it buried.
But first you would let me watch it.
No, I don't think I would. I don't think I could watch it without just dying.
I know of that talent show before I went to the same school as you, and I was not in it because all these other girls that I went to school with all took dance lessons and they all had the costumes and they all knew how to do that stuff. And it just wasn't something I did. And I
didn't know how to do it. I just did it anyway.
I know. And I think at one point I was working on possibly doing a thing to the song Oh Mickey, but then that never panned out. So I never was in that show, but I do remember it. I do remember like really wanting to be in it, but I just wasn't talented. Or my talent was not one for the stage.
Well, I have good news for you. You did not have to be talented to be in it.
Well, but what I was going to say is that when I was around that age, so we'll say probably not 4th and 5th, but like definitely 6th grade, we got a video camera in my family, and we would take all kinds of we just made all kinds of goofy videos, and I've seen them as an adult, and it is so painful for me to watch them. I have to leave the room because it's so painful for me to see myself at that age. Like, I'm just so cringe.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And like, I can't even imagine what that person wore. I'm 100% sure that whatever I danced to in the audition, there was no crossover into what was actually danced in the actual talent show. Like, I can't even begin to think about how fucking terrible it is. And
it's probably so cute. But like, if you could disassociate yourself from that person and just watch a video of a little girl.
Everybody in the audience was thinking. Everyone in the audience was probably like, oh no.
But like, that's what I mean. If you just disassociate yourself from that person, and it was just you saw like a TikTok of like a little girl who was just dancing her heart out on stage to Satisfaction, you would probably watch that and be like, "Aw, like that's so like she's trying." Like, I know you would, because I know we've shared videos of like little kids who are just awkward and weird, who are just doing their best, and we're totally just like, "Aw, I love that person."
Yeah.
So I think we need to love that person who had the
chutzpah
to get out there and dance her little heart out on stage.
She had dance in her heart.
She had dance in her heart. Well, I'm going to tell you a cringe story about me that's actually associated with this movie.
Okay.
That I think of a lot.
Okay.
So I saw this movie, and like I said, just loved it and was immediately drawn to it. And I I know I saw it in the summer because I recall shortly thereafter, I feel like, and like I said, the fashion in this was something that really just grabbed a hold of me. And I became very interested. Like I would, after that point in school, I would try and I would cut my clothes and I would draw on my clothes and I would try and do all these different things. And I was very into fashion, after this. Mm-hmm. And, but I recall after seeing this movie, being at a neighbor's swimming pool and swimming and talking to my sister and telling my sister that she just wouldn't get it because she doesn't have a reputation like me. And my sister was like, you don't even know what that means. And I was like, yes, I do. So I don't know why I associate. I know it's connected to this movie. Sure. So maybe they talk about reputations in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just remember that it connects. But let me tell you some sweet, sweet facts about this movie before we're going to watch it. So I told you all the people who were in it. This movie was directed by someone named Alan Meter. It's kind of interesting. He started his career at DDB, which is a really famous advertising agency. And then in the 70s, he started to direct some of the first music videos.
Okay.
So George Harrison, Glenn Frey, Joe Walsh, Olivia Newton-John. Oh. He started doing all their music videos. So that those were some of the first ones that were on the MTV when it first came out. Mm-hmm. So he really got his start there. He also did a lot of work with Rodney Dangerfield and Steve Martin.
I don't get no respect.
I don't get no respect. And he actually directed Back to School. Okay. Another movie that's on my list of things.
Sure.
But yeah, so then that kind of pushed him into directing feature films in the 80s. Now, in 1984, New World, which is the studio that put this movie out, they announced that they were making a big film inspired by Cyndi Lauper's song "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," and they bought the rights to the original 1979 song, which I didn't realize that
there's a cover.
It's not a cover. I guess there's a song, and then they wanted her to, you know how it is, people write these songs and they just kind of exist, and she, took it on. But Cyndi Lauper said she did not want to appear in the film, and she refused to allow her version to be used. Which it's funny because I just watched that, as we've talked about that Great Night Pop, and they say she's, But I was trying to read, why? What was the big deal? Why didn't she want her? You would think at that time she would have. That would have been a big thing. Use my song in this movie. I mean, Jesus. Cyndi Lauper was in a terrible movie in the 80s called Vibes with Jeff Goldblum. I didn't know she had such high standards for things. But so in the movie, they used this original thing. And I guess Cyndi Lauper had changed some of the lyrics of the song. So they couldn't use the changed lyrics. They have to use the original version of it. So there's a recent interview with Cyndi Lauper where she doesn't talk about this movie specifically, but she talks about her relationship with that song. And she was saying that at the time she really wanted to have this anthem for women. And she felt like they pitched her that song and she didn't want to do it. Because she felt like first of all, it was written by a man. And she felt like from the man's point of view, whenever girls are having fun, it's about them being slutty. So she felt like it was more about that. Girls just want to have fun. They just want to get out there and slut it up, I guess. Sure. So she didn't really like it. So I don't know. She says, every time we want to have fun, we're whores. She said of the men writing a song about women from their perspective. So she didn't want a record to be used in this for whatever reason. I mean, maybe she had some, I couldn't find anything specific of her saying about this movie, but it sounds like she had some weird feelings about the song. Okay. But anyway, so they, in October, they announced that Sarah Jessica Parker was going to be the person starring, and she was known at the time because she was in a TV series called Square Pegs. Yes. Right. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, I think so.
I never watched it. But she agreed to do the film because there's an uncredited screenwriter in this named Janice Hirsch, who was one of the writers on Square Pegs.
Oh, okay. So she was in the mix.
Yeah. And she said, Janice wasn't into depicting people my age as being stupid. I was impressed with her fondness for two best friends who aren't competitive. Oh. So, that's like us. We aren't competitive.
No,
not at all. Because I always win. But the film received pretty poor to mixed reviews. While certain critics considered the cheesiness factor a reason to watch the films, others said it just wasn't a good 80s teen movie genre
Okay.
film, like I said. But recently, they recently, and I'm saying like as of April 2023, like a year ago, it was announced that Village Roadshow is remaking this film, and it's going to be directed by Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, okay.
Right. So so we can look forward to that,
That's
I guess,
fun.
in the coming years. But it's funny. I looked for a like the Ebert review. Ebert was pretty much just like, meh, like it's whatever.
Couldn't be bothered.
Couldn't be bothered. But I did like one person described this movie as a ridiculous dance party.
Well, there we go. That's all we
So
need.
I am excited to watch it. Like I said, I don't remember. I remember some things from it as I was researching it. I started reading some of the quotes from it, and that reminded me of it. And I was like, oh, like I am kind of excited to watch this movie.
I'm excited. I haven't seen it. Like I said, I've probably seen it one time, and it was a long time ago. And I feel like it was like you or one of our other friends being like, you have never seen this movie? We need to watch this movie.
Okay.
In high school or something.
And that probably wasn't a good time to watch this movie. Because you probably didn't have the perspective. You were probably just like, this
isn't
stupid.
cool. Right.
But I love it. So let's go watch it, and let's just be some girls wanting to have fun.
I want to have fun.
I want to have fun.
Confidently controversial.
You've got technique. Should try it again. 1, 2, 3. You've got technique.
It's in your fingers.
Technique.
It's in your blood.
Technique. Oh my gosh, guys. This movie is not good.
No. It is not.
But I gotta say, I enjoyed it.
It's very funny. It doesn't mean to be, but it is.
I can totally see watching it why like a 9-10-year-old kid
for sure.
would be like, oh my god.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about it.
Sure.
Okay, Kim, give brief synopsis.
Okay, so there's this girl, and she's new in school, and she's Sarica Jessica Parker.
Sarica Jessica Parker.
And she's new in the school, and she's not cool, but then she meets this other girl, Helen Hunt, who's just like, weird and different and so cool. And they both love to dance.
They do. And that's like their bonding
Yeah,
thing.
they bond over music and dance. And they watch a show that's on TV that's basically like American Bandstand.
Right.
Or what's that show? What was that show called?
Solid Gold. Solid Gold.
Right.
But yeah, well, we're gonna put a little pin in that and come back to it because I have things to say about that.
And then, so they want to be on this. They want to be the new featured dancers on the show. So they go to the auditions. And they both dance their hearts out.
So, like, seriously, their hearts out.
But the one girl gets sabotaged.
Yeah, she does.
By the rich, mean girl.
Yes.
And she gets eliminated from the contest by a poor partner choice. But Sarah Jessica Parker, she gets partnered with Hazi Bobati, who can't wear sleeves.
He tries to
Allergic
put
to
sleeves.
sleeves.
He's allergic to them. He puts them on his body and they just like, they're gone.
Right.
No sleeves. A lot of pit.
Yeah.
A lot of hairy pit in this movie.
A lot of stank top.
Yeah. Indeed. Although I don't think I saw a nip.
I didn't see a hairy pit either.
I saw a hairy pit.
You did?
Yeah, there's a lot of hairy pits in this because I feel like a lot of the dancing boys were wearing shirts that.
Well, and a lot of the arm movements were like, move your arms straight up in the air.
And let's just say real quick, since Kim was talking about how she was maybe dissed for her hand movement, like that took place when this movie came out. So I can only assume that you were on trend with your arm
moving
movements.
your arms a lot was cool.
Like some of these dances were like all arm.
All arms.
But anyway, continue.
So they get paired together and they start practicing, and of course they fall in love.
Wow, how could you not?
And then they go to the dance finals, the grand final dance contest thing, and they dance against the rich girl and her partner, and it's a tie.
Yeah, it is. And they got to do it.
Have a dance off.
I love it.
They do some dancing off.
But their dancing is like dancing / gymnastics.
Yeah, and that's how they win. That's how Sarica Jessica Parker and that boy, they win.
They do. The end.
Ta-da. Oh, and the cool Helen Hunt girl gets to become the new like face of dance TV.
But they're still in high school, so I don't know how like they're getting these professional
Emily
jobs.
would like to know what the pay is.
I mean, that would be my question. Like, if I were the guy, like, so the boy, the main boy in this, his dad works down by the docks or something. He's a working man,
Right.
And
Union went on strike.
yes.
He's down on his luck.
It's tough, so tough. So, you know, and it's like, it seems like he's very much about the boy going to trade school.
Sure.
Like, it's like, wasn't that the plan? You're not going to be a dancer. You're going to go to trade school.
Their mother is not in the picture.
She died, I think.
Presumably she died, or, you know.
Who knows?
I don't know where she
We
went.
don't know what happened.
That's not the story. That's not the crux of this
It's
story.
not the crux. But yeah, I feel like if I were that dad and my son was like, yeah, I got in the finals on this and I might get a spot. Like, if I win it, I could get a shot on this thing. I feel like my first question would be like, is that like a job? Like, do they pay you? Like, what is that? Like, tell me more about this thing. Because if you're on TV, I assume you're getting paid.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. It's very, I wasn't quite sure about that part of it. So I feel like this movie, it's definitely a movie. It's very simple. And it's funny because I think the thing that had been the stumbling block of me selecting this movie has been like, what is it?
Right.
You know, there's not a lot there.
meat.
Like, when I can
No
remember it, there's no meat. And there really isn't. I mean, this is the most basic of basic
There's no
movies.
like secondary plot line or anything like that. This is all just like one story.
I feel like if I were back in college and I were teaching 3-act structure, I feel like this would be a great movie for that because it's like very like hit you over the head with here's our plot line. Here's the first act decision. I'm going to go get on the bus and try out for the thing. We're riding high. We've fallen in love and we've kissed. And then we start the downhill until now we're stuck inside and that's our low point where we don't think we're going to go. And then the third act is the dance contest.
Right.
But it's
got nothing else.
It's got nothing else.
Right.
At all.
No.
Yeah.
We don't learn about any secondary characters even a little bit.
And these characters that we do learn about, like, really, there's not a lot there.
There's no depth.
There's no depth. No,
But that's okay. Because you have Sarah Jessica Parker who looks exactly the same as she does now.
Right. Like I said at the beginning, like right when you see her face, I'm like, is she 40? Is she, 16? I don't know.
And I think she's a good actress.
I love her. Like, I'm not one of those people who hate on Sarica Jessica Parker.
I love Sarica Jessica Parker.
Like, I just think she's just so cute. And like, she's not, she's not like flaky and flighty. She seems like someone of substance.
There's no offensiveness to her. She's come as you are and she's who she is. And I love her, and I still love her.
I still love her. I love her from this movie.
Even my husband came in the room, and he was like, it's Carrie.
Yeah, like, I really like it. But let's go back to that pin that we dropped a little while ago, and that is with dance shows.
Yes.
So I don't even know if they even exist anymore. The only thing I can think of is I know people are still way into dance. In fact, I almost sent you a video the other night that was this precision dance team at like a cheer dance contest, and it was a mega what do they call it, the dance troops, like a mega troop or something.
Yeah.
And they did some kind of crazy dance. They were wearing like pink and black, and it was crazy.
Yeah, I love a dance video.
Me too. Like, I love that. But I don't feel like that is what this is. This is a thing that happened, and I feel like this was bandstand before we were born.
There was something that happened, because I see the clip a lot now, where Kelly Ripa was on, like, it was a Philadelphia show.
Philadelphia was big for, like, I think bandstand was Philadelphia.
Bandstand.
When I worked on South Street and we had a poster store, there was this gentleman who was an older gay man.
Dick Clark?
No, it was not Dick Clark. He used to be a dancer, like on one of those shows when he was a teenager.
Okay.
And he came in because he had all these great like prints and he was always getting them framed. But they were these amazing, because he was trying to like make them look nice to submit them for like some sort of museum history of Philadelphia kind of thing. But it's very cool. And I know from talking to my mom, like that was a big thing. Like you would come home and you would watch the dance show and you knew all the people. Like think of all the movies. Like there's Hairspray is about a dance show from back in the day. Did you ever see that movie, The In Crowd? Is about a dance show. I know there has to be more.
Well, in Greece too, there's that like dance show vibe.
Well, that's why they come to the high school prom, because they're filming a dance show.
Right. Cha-Cha di Gregorio.
That's correct. So I feel like that was a way big thing. Now, when we were I guess at this time period, that still existed. I feel like Solid Gold was like that. Bandstand was still a show, in the 80s. Yeah. But it kind of went away. I mean, you had TRL, but did they dance on TRL?
No, because it was, I don't think so, no.
Spring Break, when they would show Spring Break, they did.
Spring Break, they were dancing. Remember there's an episode of Friends, too, where Ross and Monica do their dance that they would have done if they were on...
Solid Gold?
Whatever.
Or Bandstand.
Show, one of the shows when they were a kid. They have like a choreographed dance that they do.
That's great.
It's not great, but it's good. It's a good episode.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's great, in that sense. But yeah, like, they don't have that anymore. No. And my understanding of it is people knew the couples. You knew who the people are on these shows. Yeah. And that's what, like, I remember this gentleman talking about. He was like this.
A featured dancer.
And like they would take them and do like photo shoots. So he had all these pictures of him going to, like Hershey Park or something. And you know what I mean? They would take all
Hershey
of them.
Park.
But it was like him on a roller coaster with these girls.
Sure.
It was a big moneymaker. And I guarantee you they did not pay those kids anything, probably.
Probably not, no. It was probably just you got to be on TV.
You got to be on TV. And you would come after school. And it sounds like that's, I mean, I feel like that's had to be what it was. It was like this on this show. Now, I know when we were in high school, after school was MTV's Most Wanted. And that was always...
TRL.
Then TRL.
Came later.
Right. But I didn't really watch TRL. I feel like I was a little too... That's like Britney Spears to me. I was a little too old.
My sister was into TRL. And I remember they had... TRL had like a photo booth.
Okay.
And, like all the celebrities and stuff would take pictures in the photo booth on TRL. And then later my sister got the book that was like all of the photo booth
I would
photos.
love to see that.
I know. I wonder if she still has it. I would like to look at it right now.
Right now. Like, call her up. What's she doing? Well, she's busy today. But yeah, I do wonder about that. But yeah, the other thing in here that I think is something that I don't know if it exists now. It probably does still exist, but it wasn't something that was around when we were this age, is the Deb, like the debutante ball. Which is funny because
the Deb shop.
Well, I was going to say, which is funny because one of the only stores that sold like prom dresses and things was a store called the Deb shop.
Yeah.
In Rio Grande.
Deb.
The Deb. Right.
That's how 80s we were. There was a store called Deb.
Right. And it was the only store.
Right. And it was the store you wanted to go to.
Yeah, I remember getting like Easter dresses there, having to go there for like sandals and dress shoes.
Yeah. I just remind, I think of that store. It was in the Rio Mall.
Absolutely.
And I just picture like a lot of neon and poof.
I feel pastel. I see a lot of pink and light yellow.
Right. And there was definitely some sort of earring kiosk out front.
150%. Yes, there was definitely a place I think I did get pierced at the Piercing Pagoda.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was there or the Hamilton Mall. Yeah. I feel like it was in Rio Grande where I got my ears pierced.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, that was like the thing. But we never went to like a debutante 16-year-old.
No.
I went to one, and that was Sonal Maida's.
Right. But that was something different, right?
Well, it was the same age, but she's Indian American. Right. So it was very much more about an Indian cultural thing. And it was definitely an Indian cultural
kind of like
party.
A quinceañera, but
Indian. Yes. And everybody, she was very dressed up, in her, in like a sari and everything else. I mean, it was awesome. Right. I feel like I was not an age where I could fully appriciate that. Sure. I would love to go to that party right now.
Yeah, me too.
But when I was younger, I was just like, nah, this food is weird. Because I grew up in a very sheltered life, I guess. Right. But when I was in my 20s, I was friends with a lot of people who are Ukrainian, and they had every year there was
They still go.
like debutante thing.
Yeah.
I know. I still see like the things
yeah.
on Facebook, but that was fun. Like you would just go and people were dressed like in tuxedos and dresses,
Right.
and they
It
were
was
like
just
bringing
a fun
out
dance.
It was a dance, but they were definitely the Debs. Like you were
okay.
bringing the young girls out. Like that was their coming out thing.
Okay.
And they say that she has it because she has a coming out, like her debutante party.
Right. And what does that mean? You're coming out to be what? A woman?
To be wed. I assume it's like an old fashioned thing where you're 16, you can now be married. You're on the scene. You're out there. You're looking for gentlemen.
Right.
Right. Because it would be normal to be married by the time you were like 18. Right.
My name is Deb, and I'm on the scene.
My name is Deb. I got some dippity do in my hair. I'm wearing pastel. My bangs are curled, and I am on the scene. Looking for love. But did you ever go to a thing like that? I went to a bar mitzvah too, which is a boy version of that.
No, I've never been to anything like that.
Really?
No, sad, no.
Yeah. Well, I wonder when my daughter turns 16. My daughter is she's going to be 13 soon. So I got 3 years to think about this.
I'm always fascinated by like the bat mitzvah because they have themes sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I've heard of like some celebrities that have had them. Like somebody had one that was SNL themed or something like that. Like
amazing.
you could just have a theme. I think that was, I can't remember.
The one I went to, I was very impressed by. Yeah. I was in middle school when I went to it. I was probably 12 or 13 when I went to this thing. And there was someone doing caricatures there.
Yeah.
There was, which was very...
Was the theme boardwalk?
I don't remember, but I remember just like getting a lot. Like it was very just like, oh my God, like there's just so much stuff happening here.
And you got gifts?
You got gifts. Like I remember getting like some sort of really fancy party favor or something. And like I remember, it was like a whole
I would like to
thing.
go to one now. Invite me. Someone invite me.
I don't know anyone who's having it. My nieces all had sweet 16s.
Yeah.
And they were nice. They were really nice. I see pictures from, my niece and my sister did up like,
You weren't invited?
No, I went to them. I was there.
I've seen pictures from them. They seem nice.
They seem nice. So I've recently looked at pictures of them.
Okay.
But I mean, even at the time, I feel like they were They were nice. But yeah, like I didn't have that. Like my sweet 16, me and a friend, my mom we went with my family to medieval times. That's not even a joke. That's what we did.
Wow.
That's when my grandma plowed somebody over to catch one of the carnations that was thrown into the audience. And my grandma like fully took someone out to catch it. And then she kept telling everyone how she played baseball when she was younger.
So your Grammy was at your 16th birthday party?
It was all my family, like my immediate family.
Plus one friend.
Plus Grammy, plus one friend. That was my sweet 16 at medieval times. Oh my God, to say it out loud. Did you have a sweet 16?
No.
No? You must have had a party.
I probably had a party.
Is that the sleepover party with boys at your house?
Maybe. It might have been.
And when we wore like those weird night shirts. Oh man, let's not talk about it.
Yeah, I feel like my mom, I don't remember what birthday that was, but my mom let like 3 boys and 3 girls sleep over.
Sure, but we were all separated. Don't worry, Mom.
Yeah.
No funny business.
No
funny business.
It was just, we were too awkward.
Yes.
So,
no, it was bad news. Well, let's talk about boys a little bit.
All right,
because in
let's
this, there's definitely some, again, going back to, I watched this and loved this as a small child. The relationships with boys and girls in this and the way that girls are really, from the beginning, I feel like even the cinematography is very objectifying of Sarah Jessica Parker, very, showing her from the feet up in her, out in her like schoolgirl, Catholic schoolgirl outfit, very much like that. There's some lines in this like, the Lynn character, the Helen Hunt character says to their little boy Crazy, and she says, well, he's a guy and he's alive. What's there to hate? Right. So it's like, it doesn't matter if the guy is, he is nice in this, but it doesn't matter if he's nice. It doesn't matter if he's whatever. It's just about, all I care about is that I have a boyfriend.
Well, and she also, the Lynn character, which is Helen Hunt, she's also says at one point, she's like, every time I'm with a person of the opposite sex, basically, she's like, even my dentist. Yeah. I think about if I would puke if we kissed. Right. And I just feel like, your dentist?
Yeah, Dr. Nup. Yeah, that's the thing that I like in this, and even there's like that one part where she falls in love with, when Sarica Jessica Parker falls in love with the boy and they kiss, and she's like, I'm just so happy I have a best friend, which, yeah, I'm happy about that too. She's like, I have a best friend and I have a boyfriend.
Right.
And it's just.
And he's like, who's your boyfriend?
She's like, you silly. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's very basic in that way. But I also want to talk about, at one point they go out to a club, I guess it is. They go out dancing. The court.
Sure.
And it's not even like, I don't even think there's drinks there. It just seems like a fun
like a
place.
teen dance.
Like a teen dance kind of a place.
Like a Leroy May Center dance.
Like a Leroy May Center dance. But at this dance, there's like a little bit of like a salty, weird things that happen. There's a part which I always remember from this, which is like the tune in Tokyo, which I think other people would probably remember from this as well.
Yeah.
So a young Jonathan Silverman, he gets this girl to put her hands up by her ears and like kind of like go back and forth. And she's going like beep, beep, beep. And then it's like being almost like a periscope. And he goes and like grabs her boobs.
Right, like radio dials.
Like radio dials. He tweaks her boobies and says tune in Tokyo, which, you know, is pretty bad. Horrible.
Yeah, pretty
like
bad. It's
assault.
Yeah,
like don't do that.
Yeah.
And then at the same time that is happening, there's a large gentleman who like at one point the boyfriend goes to help somebody. And Sarica Jessica Parker is by herself, and this large gentleman comes up to her and is like, you're going to dance with me now. And she's like, well, I don't really want to. And he's like, too bad. You dance with me now.
And he's also probably 40.
Yeah. And then the other guy comes back and it's just like, I don't, like, she's with me. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, no, mine now. Yeah. And then the guy ends up like punching him to get her away, which I'm just...
again.
Okay.
Gross.
Yeah. Really, really, really gross.
I know that this isn't about the same thing, but we need to talk about something that we both learned, I think, during watching this movie as adults.
Yes. Oh, no.
Do you like it left or right?
Oh, see, I knew this before this.
You knew this?
Yeah, I was the one who said, I think it's the way that...
No, I know, but like, you had heard of it before?
I learned it more recently because I finally asked my husband. So let's talk about what we're talking about here. You explain.
So Jonathan Silverman, he's getting his suit tailored. Mm-hmm. And the tailor is, measuring his pants, his inseam or whatever. And he asked him if he likes it left or right.
He said, do you dress left or right?
Do you dress left or right?
Right.
Which means, which side of your penis do you put your balls on? Isn't that what it says?
Which side of your penis do you put your balls on? What does that mean? It means what side, like when you're getting dressed, like do you push your balls to like which side? Which side of your penis do you put your balls on is what you said.
Yeah.
You meant what side of your pants do you put your balls on?
Your balls and penis.
And like which way does like your penis hang is how you dress.
Do your balls hang low? Do they wobble to and fro?
We're not talking about balls. No, that's not what the people are here for, Kim. This lewd talk. But yeah, I never knew that either. And I feel like I finally asked my husband what that was, and my husband explained it to me.
So you have to choose?
Well, or is like ever seen like where a guy gets dressed, and especially like if the pants are kind of fitted, they have to like put them on a side. They don't just like
split it up the middle.
Right, like they go one side.
They have to go together.
Yeah, they stay together. They're a package deal.
Let's
stay together. I don't know how people deal with those things.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It seems like a lot to have to handle, for sure. They also don't wear helmets, and there's a lot of motorcycle riding without helmets in this movie, which, not that great. Also, I wanted to talk about the parents. So a big part of this is that Sarica Jessica Parker's parents don't, the dad is really strict. He's a military guy, and he's real strict and won't let her do anything. Now, watching this, I feel as if, and even the dad of the boy, the guy, who's working down at the docks, it's very much just like, I don't care. It doesn't matter what you, like, I don't care about who you are, what you're interested in. Like, I don't even know that you're interested in dance.
Right.
Like, you're like teenagers, and I have no idea that you're fully professional dancers.
Right. Well, that I think is a popular trope in movies a lot, too, where, like, the parents don't know until they see the students perform. And then when they see them perform, they're like blown away by their talent.
Right.
And then they're accepting of it. They're like, whoa, I had no idea that they were this good. I feel like it happens a lot.
It does. Movies. And I feel like
especially
either your
with
house,
dance, but also with music sometimes too.
Yes.
And you're just like, how do you not know that they're good at this?
They must have really big houses, because I feel like I don't have that big of a house. I know what my kids are doing all the time. Like, I know what they're into.
If one of your children was good at gymnastics, I'm sure you would know.
If all of a sudden I was watching TV and my daughter was on the TV flipping around, I feel like, first of all, I'd be like, wait, what? And I also feel like it's so dumb that these parents would be so against. I would be like, okay, you want to do this thing, I'll take you if you're interested in this thing. Yeah, it's just, it makes no sense.
But keep in mind, too, there was a whole movie where dance was banned.
It's true. In the 80s, so, dance was
questionable.
It was questionable. So I guess if you were a teenager in the 80s, your parents, like our parents, were like hippie age, right? Mm-hmm. Like they were born, like my parents were born in like 49. So
50s.
Yeah, so they were more like, had their teenage years in the 60s. Mm-hmm. And then, but if you were a teenager, maybe your parents had their teenage years in the 50s.
They're a little more boomer.
They're a little more boomer. They're a little bit more conservative. Mm-hmm. They're very anti all that free love dance.
Right.
Yeah, that self-expression makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm watching this show right now, that Truman Capote show, and that
you talk about it a lot.
I know it's set in the 70s and early 80s, and it's about these like high society women. And the most recent episode, it was like them coming to terms with the fact that like the world is changing because they go to like their favorite department store to buy gloves.
Oh,
which
which were gloves, you say?
Gloves, which were very in the
50s.
Yeah, but then even like for society ladies, I guess,
okay.
in the later years, and hats, like big large hats. Their favorite hat store is closing down.
Oh yeah.
And the one
millinery.
The one lady's like losing her mind because she can't get her gardening hats anymore. And then they go to a store and they basically get like. They're like, yeah, we try to carry more contemporary styles. Why don't you go to Lord & Taylor? And you know what I mean? Like there was, and I never thought of it from that point of view, like coming of age at a time where style is changing so much and things are changing in such an extreme way. Like to go from very fancy and pulled together and like everybody dressed for everything, including bed and dinner and everything.
Yeah.
To go from that to 80s
like sweatpants
style or bell bottoms or fringe or
I think of it more like clothing, the casualness of clothing. I mean, my husband just wears jeans and a t-shirt all the time, and I just feel as if that just would not have happened back in the day.
Never. You
just wouldn't, like, as a grown man, you would not be wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Right.
Yeah, it just like wouldn't be a thing.
No.
You might have like work pants. He might be like the guy down the dock with his work pants.
Right, but even the ladies too. I mean, they fully.
The mom in this was full, like we kept saying she looked like Amelia Earhart. She did. She had her hair like in like Boogie Woogie Beautiful Boy style with combs.
Yeah.
So I mean, she fully did her hair. Yeah. But okay. So we're gonna wrap it up on this movie for a second. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
it was fine.
I don't think that I would be like, this is the greatest movie. No. It's not the greatest movie.
And there are, like, the parts that were controversial were very evident.
Mm-hmm.
The sexualization of women, young girls.
Yeah. I can't believe these girls are 16. They're essentially wearing lingerie.
Yeah, no autonomy.
Yeah. Hanging out in their underwear. Why? The only reason that they put, like, no girl in real life hung out in their underwear in their house in front of their, like, little kid brother. The only reason they do it is so they can show these girls in their underwear in these movies.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah. But there is a part, this just reminds me of being young, and it's such a great, I feel like it's just such a great example of that time period. Like I was even saying, there's like outfits, the color schemes in this of what she wears. It's just very indicative of that time. And I think I really just enjoy it from that point of view. So, amen. Mother Teresa. Do you have anything else to say about this movie?
Oh, I think that one of the things that's really of the time, I think, and also something that I think is in a lot of movies is like if you want people to come in to ruin something or like take it over, you invite the punks.
Oh, I wrote that down too. Yeah, like the punks, and we're really on the fringe,
right? And punks don't use the door; they come in through the window. Like, I mean, I think that's very funny. It's just like I know a lot of punks that were fine and respectful people.
The punks were usually, to me, they were just like the nerdy boys who just were more like, I don't want to hang out with these.
Antisocial.
They were antisocial.
Yeah, they're not coming to your party.
The other thing was they have all these fringe people that they invite to this debutante ball, and some of the fringe people are female, like they're not, I wouldn't even say they're bodybuilders, they just look like they're fit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so fit women were on the fringe in this.
Yes.
Very crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Girls just want to have fun. What can you say?
All right. Well, do you want to hear the Spader connection? Spader time. Spader time. We used to do our own theme song now.
Yeah, I know. We had a direct connect in the last episode.
I don't want to talk about it.
They got
it got forgot.
Yeah.
Is what happened. But this isn't a direct connect, so we don't have to worry about it.
Thank God.
We're gonna start this one with the one and only Sarica Jessica Parker.
Nice.
And she was in a movie called Mars Attacks.
Oh, yeah.
With Jack Nicholson, who was in a movie called Wolf. With Mr. James T. Spader. T. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
I know, I did it.
Good.
I did
it.
I'm
the
very
top
proud
of your head.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. We're coming in on the end of our first season.
First year, yeah.
I know. It's really kind of crazy. We appreciate everyone who's been listening. We appreciate the movie ideas that people are telling us about. It's funny because I always think like, I can't think of any, but then I like just recently, as I was trying to think of this one, I added like 5 new movies to my list.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ever growing and it's great. But if you're interested, you can follow us on the TikTok at Confidently Contro. We are on Instagram at
Confidently Controversial.
That's it.
Yeah.
We have a website that's confidentlycontroversial.com.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube.
Sure are.
We're just out there up in these streets talking about old movies and our old selves.
That's right.
That's right.
And, if you love to dance, be proud of that.
Yeah.
You should go out there and you should try your stuff and you should do your gymnastics and your flips. And you should move your arms a lot.
Oh, yes.
Confident in your arm movements.
Be confident in your arm movement. But you know what?
What?
Don't be mean to the other dancers.
No.
That's controversial. And
Yeah.
the dance doesn't need to be controversial.
No, dance should be bringing people together, not tearing them apart.
Exactly. And you know what? With that, we thank you guys. We love you guys. And we hope you have a wonderful week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Controversial. Confidently controversial.